الحمد لله الحمد لله الواحد المنعم والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنام وعلى آله وصحبه الكرام وسلم تسليما كثيرا ما دام يجري هذا النظام. الحمد لله الذي شرع لنا أحكاما في كل الأمور وشرع لنا فيما بين الأمير والمأمور، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فقد قال جل وعلا في كتابه العزيز وفرقانه الحميد بعد أن أقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. Once the Prophet ﷺ sent out a group of people on an expedition. And of course we know when the Prophet ﷺ was sent out a few people as a group, he would make someone the leader of the group. He would make someone the Amir of the group. That person will be the caretaker and will be responsible for whatever happens in that expedition. So Rasulullah ﷺ appointed this man who was the leader of the group, and that person would also lead the congregational prayers while they are traveling. So what happened was, when this person would lead the salah, every other raka'ah, every other unit of the prayer, this person would recite Surah Al-Ikhlas. Now, if you were to hire the imam in a masjid, or any community was to hire an imam, and if the imam was to recite the same surah every single day for Fajr, Maghrib and Isha, then most likely a few brothers will come up to that person and say, hey, what's going on? You don't know any other surahs in the Quran? You're just reciting the same surahs all the time. I think you should go and memorize a few more surahs so you can recite a few more surahs. In the same manner, the Sahaba, the companions, had an issue. Like, what's this thing that every other raka'ah you're reciting Surah Al-Ikhlas? What is this, like some new bid'ah? I mean, we were in the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but we never saw the Messenger alayhi salatu wasallam do something like this. Why are you doing this? So when they returned back from the expedition, they came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they said that we experienced this, which is something extraordinary. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the companions, go back and ask the person why he does what he does. And this person said, the reason why I love reciting Surah Al-Ikhlas, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ لِأَنَّهَا صِفَةُ الرَّحْمَنِ وَأَنَا أُحِبُّهَا, because it mentions the amazing qualities of Allah, and I love Allah Azza wa Jal. So they came back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they informed him that this is the response that he gave. And the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam said, inform him that Allah also loves him as well. This is a man whose heart was at peace and ease and was secured by Allah Azza wa Jal. One of the verses which I recited is that Allah Azza wa Jal says that there will be some people on the day of judgment that will come to Allah with a qalb as-salim, with a secured heart, a heart that is safe, a heart that is at peace with people and the Creator Himself. Yani, this person is not busy or occupied in criticizing people, but rather this person has empathy for other people. He's not correcting, but rather he's connecting with people. You know, this is one of the issues that we have. We have so much malice, and our hearts are invested and polluted with so much diseases and spiritual diseases that we fail to realize that the buck stops here, and I am at the cause of many problems within my life and other people's life because my heart is not clean. You know, so many incidents we see that people love to criticize other people, and they're very quick to judge. There was an incident just a few days ago where the mother became sick. So the daughter obviously went to visit the mother, and the husband had a ticket and a flight back home. So he canceled the ticket, and the parents back home were criticizing him. Oh, look, now he's American. He has forgotten us. He doesn't care about us anymore. And we're quick to criticize because the heart is so crooked. And just to drive this message home, I'll give you an example. If some of us know, there's something called homeostasis, which is the condition of a person's temperature. And if you didn't go to med school, you don't have to go to med school to know this. But homeostasis is 96.8% is the temperature of the body. So for example, when you're playing sports, when you're playing basketball, and now your body gets extremely heated, it pushes out, or it releases sweat. And when it releases that sweat, the body wants to come back to that same temperature. 96.8%. And the same thing when a person has a very high fever, they go to the doctor, they give something to cool down the body again, to bring it down to that equilibrium, to bring it down back to that level. In the same way, on the spiritual aspect, there needs to be this spiritual level and this balance and equilibrium. The hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, where once there was a Sahabi that committed a crime or a sin, and they came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam informing about this person, that this person this thing and whatever. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, just pause, just stop there for a second. Stop broadcasting to me about the evil of my companions. Stop complaining to me and coming to me and saying this person did that, that person did that, that person did that. I don't want to occupy my mind and my heart. I want to meet my Sahaba. وَأَنَا صَدْرُ قَلْبٍ صَدْرُ السَّلِيمِ. I want to meet my companions at such a state that my heart is at ease. That when I see the person, I don't have negative thoughts regarding that person. I don't have negative ideas regarding that individual. Our hearts are so soft. Allah has created our hearts soft. Especially more so women. We're very fragile. They're very weak. And because Allah has created our hearts soft, it's very important that each and every single one of us realize that the heart can become diluted and polluted. We don't look and we don't have that spiritual, take back, where we take a step back and we think spiritually that what is the condition of my heart? How much am I thinking about other people and criticizing other people? And we're so occupied, our minds are occupied of the perception that other people have regarding us. How often am I thinking about the perception that Allah has regarding me? And does it take, sometimes for some people, you'll see the turning point in their life, it's some tragedy, it's some calamity that occurs. There's a very emotional story one brother once shared with me. And remember, stories are meant to be said and shared again for the lesson that we need to learn. Two brothers got together, they opened up a business. The business was running fine. Maybe someone was pocketing money or whatever happened, something in between. And things got really ugly. And they separated. And years went by, 10 years went by, where the elder brother was in the hospital. He was he was in his fatal illness. And now it came time that, my brother might pass away. Let me go pay him a visit. And when he went to the hospital, he bursted out crying because all those memories came back. And he embraced his brother in such a way that all those memories came back, and he kept on crying and he kept on crying. And the moment he released his brother, an hour or two went by that the brother passed away. And that was the turning point in that brother's life. That life is not all about money. Life is not all about success. It's not about acquiring. It's not about being greedy. You talk of greed, you talk of hatred, you talk of jealousy, you talk of malice, you talk of envy. All these things are stuck in this heart. How can this heart be at ease? And how can this heart be clean when you come to the masjid and when you're coming in the court of Allah and His Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam? That famous hadith that many of us have heard for a very long time of Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says the person that will pass by, the next person that will pass by, he's from Ahlul Jannah, he's a man of paradise. So that person passed by and the Sahaba were like, this is like an ordinary person, whatever. And Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, his curiosity went to the next level, that he's like, I want to find out what this man does. That the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam gave him glad tidings of Jannah. I need to find out. It kept on bothering him. He was disturbed, he was perturbed, he could not be relaxed. He just wanted to know what was that action or that deed that that man did. Maybe he gave some sadaqah, maybe he assisted someone. And that's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that this man is Jannah. So he went to his house, he knocked on his door, and he said that, I got kicked out, I have some issue with my family, can I stay over? So he thought that maybe this man performs long rak'ah at night, long prayers at night. He wakes up in the nocturnal hours, he's maybe reciting a lot of Quran. One night goes by, he sees nothing. This guy's an ordinary man, he just wakes up and he just prays salah and then goes back to sleep again. The next night, and after 3 days, you're no more a guest. So he said, listen, I made up a story. The reality is, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave you glad tidings of Jannah, but I really wanted to know, what is it that you do? What actions do you perform that the paragon of Allah's creation sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given you glad tidings of Jannah? So he said, I do nothing. So he's about to leave and he says, I actually do one thing. Every single night before I go to sleep, I check and I ponder and I reflect that did I have any conflict with anybody? Do I have anything against anyone? And I clean my heart and I forgive and I forget everyone. And that's one thing that I do. And he found out that that's the reason why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that this man is going to Jannah. Often in our lives, we like to look at the evil or the fault of other people's. This person is selling sharab, this person is doing that person is indulged in this, he's compounding interest and this and that. And that's correct. Wrong is wrong. We will never justify wrong. Nor does Allah or His Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam ever say to justify wrong. But don't overlook the good of other people. Yes, he has a fault, he has a mistake. He or she is doing something wrong. They're committing a crime. But that doesn't mean that you overlook all of their good deeds, all of their good qualities, all of their good characteristics and the good personality that they have. Once the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhu came, and in Medina life was very difficult for the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhu in the initial stages. And there was a companion who was basically like the comedian of the time. He used to often crack a joke, and during challenging times it's great to have humor. So they used to enjoy him. But he had an issue. And his issue was he had a drinking problem. And some of the Sahaba, used to take action because of him drinking. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, one thing about this person, يُحِبُّ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولَهُ. He loves Allah and His Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam very passionately. He loves Allah and His Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam very passionately. Don't overlook his good qualities. And this is why everything begins from the heart. If a person's heart is clean, if a person's heart and his intention is clear, then he will be able to do many things. There will be sincerity, there will be ikhlas in his actions. And this is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the very profound hadith says, أَلَا إِنَّ فِي الْجَسَدِ لَمُضْغَةً. Indeed, there lies a flesh within the body. إِذَا صَلُحَتْ صَلُحَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ فَسَدَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. That if that flesh within the body is correct, then everything else would be good. Everything will act in accordingly. But if that flesh within the body is corrupted, is polluted, is diluted, is contaminated with diseases and spiritual diseases, then everything else will go wrong. And he said that is the heart. That everything that happens in a person's life revolves around his heart and what he has in his heart. So I pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that He gives us the ability to flush out these evil diseases within our heart, and for us to meet Allah Azza wa Jal on the Day of Judgment with a qalb salim, a pure, a secured heart. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us the ability to live our lives according to the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wa salli Allahumma barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. ألا إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفر ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة. من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد، ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم انصر المسلمين في كل مكان، اللهم انصر المسلمين في كل مكان، اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واجعلنا منهم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين ونجنا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين. اللهم طهر قلوبنا من النفاق وأعمالنا من الرياء وألسنتنا من الكذب. اللهم ارحمنا بالقرآن العظيم، اللهم ارحمنا بالقرآن العظيم واجعله إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة يا رب العالمين. اللهم ذكرنا منه ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا وارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وآناء النهار يا رب العالمين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين ونجنا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين. اللهم استعملنا وتقبلنا لخدمة دينك، اللهم استعملنا وتقبلنا لخدمة دينك. اللهم إنا نسألك حبك وحب من يحبك والعمل الذي يبلغنا حبك. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا واجعلنا سببا لمن اهتدى. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. ربنا تقبل رجالنا وأطفالنا ونساءنا كما تقبلت من عبادك الصالحين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. أقم الصلاة إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا.